Last winter we had a lot of rain, and I saw some water coming out of the old plastic pipe that was in here for the first time. Quite a bit. So I thought, well, maybe there is a good spring up there. I should go up there and check it out. So anyway, I went up this little canyon here, clear up into that area up there, and I was following this black pipe. And there was a little water running out of it. But I got right up in there and was digging away, and all of a sudden yellow jackets were all around me. So I took off running down this hill, and that was the last time I've been back until today. But while I was gone, some varmint or a bird got the yellow jacket nest, so they're not up there anymore. And I dug it up a little there. Let's walk up there and check it out. So I followed the old black pipe up to here, at least when it was on the surface, and I got right up into there, and I could hear it gurgling, so I thought, well, maybe that's the end of it. So I started digging. Anyway, let's go over there and we'll check it out. Okay, I made it up to here. I walked up there in front of me to where the pipe disappeared, and the rock hill went right up the hill, and I didn't see any pipes, so I know it ends down here, probably right under there, but I could hear it gurgling down here. So I thought, well, maybe it ends here. It's just sucking air. So I started digging, and the next thing I know, yellow jackets were flying around me, about 50 of them. Surprised I didn't get stung. So I took off running down the hill, what you're supposed to do when you might get stung or get stung. So anyway, I came back today, and I started digging down, and I did find the pipe, but not the end of it. And I don't see a lot of water down here. We're in a really low part of the little gully. And up there, I see a little water coming off the hill in the rocks up there, but not very much. I got a swat bug. So, thinking about it, I decided to take my Pulaski. This is the tool I use. Where is it? Okay, over here. It's hard to see when you're looking through the camera. That's a sort of Pulaski, and I use that for trail building and digging and cutting roots and rocks and everything else. Good tool. So anyway, when I walked up to here, down through there, that bottom part, I noticed the different water flows along the way. And there's down at the lower part, there's a lot of water coming out of the hill. And I'll show you the different puddles as I slide down the hill. Well, I'm not going to slide, but I'm going to shut the camera off and walk over these rocks and get to the next place. I think some water is right down in there, and I'll show you what's coming out there. Anyway, so as I went down the hill, I saw this water seeping out of the side here. So I took my tool there and I scraped it around a little bit, made a place so I can see how much water was coming down there, actually flowing down the side and running down the gully. And I looked and said, yeah, there's some water, but I think I saw a lot more down below. So let's continue on down, looking at the water as we go. This is the next spot. It's only about 10 feet below the last one, but it's coming out of the rock. There's a little bit more water here than above me, which shows there's more springs being added. I took my tool and I made little channels so I could see how much water is flowing, and I made them toward this exit area down here. So on this one, there's water coming from the right, and there's water coming from the left, and it's sort of flowing all over those rocks. So let's get down below this and take another look at it. We've got to get down through there so you get to be shut off. This is a shot of the last one I showed you from the top, from the bottom. You can see water's coming out over there on the left of the pipe. Fairly good little amount, a little bit all through there. And I have a little over here on the right coming in, where I made a little channel in the rock with my tool there. So all the water is going to come through here. But looking at this, there's still more coming out down below than I see coming through here. So let's go down to the next one. I'm at the lowest one that I've checked out and thought was a possibility. And this one I think is the best one. It has quite a bit of water, maybe even 2 gallons a minute. I don't know. It's June now, so it's still early in the season. The whole thing could dry up by the time fall gets here. But if I was to tap it, I'd tap it right here. And at first I was looking at tapping it right down here. Okay? Be aware to put a pool. But that's in the streamline. And so I was looking up a little higher, and I started looking underneath the Pulaski tool there. See it's sort of on a rock? Let's go look at that a little closer. I'll just widen you out and see if we can get up there. Okay. Alright, so the Pulaski is sitting on top of a rock that's on a whole bunch of other rocks. It's sort of sheeted, okay? And there's some water coming down behind that little rock, but it looks like most of it's coming down this way and then spreading out on the big rocks below. So my thought is to remove that rock there and make a puddle there back on the hillside a little bit, even off the main stream. That's the best way to do them. And I'll just take that rock out and start seeing if I can carve a little tiny pool in there about the size of a bathroom sink or smaller. But I don't think I'll do that today. I've done enough in here. It's sort of an exploratory day, and I did do some rocks and gravel moving already. So, but what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to take that rock out of there and then see if I can get all the water to go where that rock was in this whole channel across to that. And if I can, it'll be a good place to tap it, because all the water will be going to one place and not being pulled. It'll go down the pipe and down the hill. So anyway, we're almost at the bottom of this. It's got another, I don't know, 50 feet or so to go before you get down there to the road. But I probably don't have a drink of water there anymore. I had a pipe down there, but I think I just blocked it off up there. Anyway, we'll record some more later as we do more to this spring. Time to get on home. All that water, there's got to be at least a couple gallons a minute coming down through there on the rock. It sounds good, eh? Okay. If we can get that water in a pipe, that'd be great. There's not many places to get a drink of water over here. For me and the animals. Down lower, below the last one, still the same day, I haven't left yet. There's a little water coming down here, but not very much, so that indicates a lot of it's going underneath me. But if I turn around and face downstream, I got a whole bunch of water coming out down there. But I'd rather tap it as high as I can, because that keeps it cleaner. And should be fine. If I tap it and get all the water up there and it still runs down here, I could always put another tap down here. Anyway, we're almost to the bottom, and see the ferns down there. That's where the road is. So I'm headed that way. I'd forgotten that I put my cup below the pipe outlet. It's only a dribble, but when I got down here, I spied my full cup of water, so now I get a drink of water. Here's what's water down here a little bit, but a lot of it's going underground now. That's why I want to get it up there. So anyway, nothing like a nice fresh cup of spring water after working. It's another day, and I'm back at the pot grower spring. I'm going to work on it, see about making a little pool to collect the water. I'm going to be going up that canyon right there. Well, it's not a canyon, the little ravine, oh, maybe 50 feet, where I'm going to be tapping the spring. So anyway, I'll go show you what's coming down right now. This is the water that's coming down from the top where I decided not to dig. But where I'm going to dig, there's a lot more. If you want to get a drink here, the best way is have a cup. Stick it under there. It takes a minute or so to fill. Anyway, so I'm headed up this ravine where the pipe goes. Maybe about 50 feet. Well, I walked up the ravine a little bit, about 50 feet in elevation. And this is the spot I've chose to tap this spring. There's several spots that you could do it coming down here. But here's where I first see the most water coming down. Quite a bit, actually. So my plan is to get up here and show you what I'm going to do. Okay, now I got up here. You see that rock right there? Yeah, the water's coming out on a big sheet of rocks. You see that down there? And it's flowing over the top of them. So my plan is to take that rock out and cut back on this hill just a little bit to get out of the mainstream and try to make a pool to collect the water The pool should be no larger than, say, the size of a bathroom sink, and even smaller is better. So anyway, my job today is to remove this material and try to make that sink. You can see how much water is coming down there. It's a pretty good flow for our area. There's at least a gallon, maybe a couple. Sounds good, eh? Okay, we're going to get to work. Okay, I've dug a little bit. I've taken most of the gravels out that are on top of that rock I was looking at. Let's go up a little bit closer. Maybe we can just do it this way. So I got water coming down here from digging around a little bit. And all the water was coming out here, but there's still quite a bit. So eventually I want all that water to be over here. So I'm getting to the point where I probably need to work on that rock. It might be part of the mountain. But it's pretty soft stuff, so I'm pretty sure I can make a hole back there. The object would be get all this water into this hole back over here. So I'll continue to dig away. Yep, it's looking good. Alrighty, I spent about 10 or 15 minutes digging around trying to get the water all into one. I think I've been successful. As you can see there, I got a lot of water there. And I had a lot of water over there, but it's all down to a drip, so I think I have most of it. What I did was cut from over this area over to this area where the water is coming down through the stream. So now what I need to do is still make that pool, and I'd rather not put that pool right over there because it's in the main stream line. So I'm going to try to put it over here where the rock is, but the rock may be too much, and if I do, I'll move back a little bit into the dirt, and if that fails, I'll have to go back to this situation over here, which is still okay. I can protect that. So anyway, what I'm going to do right now is remove some of this overburden behind the tool there and try to make a spot to make a little pool back there if I can get through the rock, and there's a place to do it. So the only way to find out is look. That means a little bit of hand labor. Okay, that's it. I spent some time digging that trench down deeper. It was about 4 inches into the rock. I'm about 10 inches into the rock now. It's fairly soft, but still you have to work at it. I have it about where I want it. I don't know if you can see it from this angle, but anyway, I'll put the pipe in there and give you another look at it. Sounds great, huh? The pipe will be in that ditch about like this. Could be a little longer, I think, because I have a lot of dirt out here where I am. But anyway, for now, I'm just going to do a temporary thing. I'll show you the upper end of it and where the water's coming in. See the water coming down from the left side? That'll be all clayed in, and they'll drop right directly into that black strainer, downspout strainer you get with hardware store, a 2-inch pipe. Anyway, that'll all be clayed in, and there'll be no puddles there. That's really key to the system. But for right now, I'm going to put a little temporary dam in there, right about there, just with the dirt and rocks and stuff that I've got around here to work with. Mostly just to get the water flowing and maybe measure it eventually. Eventually I'll come back with some clay and do this all in, but I can get water flowing just by putting some of this regular old dirt in there for now. And it's not gonna be right. If I do this now temporary, you'll see the water is gonna be a big pool in there, and that's not the way I do it. I'm just doing this for a temporary thing, just till I get back to it. Okay, let's get on with making a little dam. Okay, I've got the pipe in there temporarily, temporary dam made out of gravel, stuff I knocked out of the rock. It's not what I'd put in if I was really concerned about it, but this is a temporary thing. And it is catching some of the water. A lot of the water is going through the dam, but that's okay. It's always nice to get some water in a pipe. And if you only need a little water, you can tap into that and use it. But anyway, all it is I got a little temporary dam made there out of the gravels. And the water is coming down from this side and going into that strainer and coming out of the pipe down there. So the only really thing I tried to do here was keep that strainer lip lower than the upper water that's flowing into it. And it's about the same or a little lower. It's fine because I'll be claying that in and have some adjustment and room to maneuver. And the other criteria is that the pipe downspout is sloped down just a little bit at least. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it should be enough so dust and anything gets in there will flow down to the end of it. So this is a temporary thing. definitely not what I do for a household. I don't have puddles in my system like this one here. I like the water to come out of the hill and go right into that strainer without a puddle. That keeps contamination away and you don't lose water that way. Anyway, that's enough for one day. I might see if I can hook up this black plastic pipe just because it's here. As long as I was sitting here taking a break, I decided to go ahead and hook the black pipe up because it was very close. It only went 10 feet above here, so I was able to pull it down and hook it in. So that's a temporary setup. Even though it's all temporary, I'm still getting water down the pipe. I'm losing a lot around the pipe. Went through my rocky, rabbly dam. But it's okay, there's still water going down the pipe. And I'll do it right later. I'm going to go down the hill now, only about 50 feet, and get a drink of this water. That's enough for one day. I need to get some clay, I think, to carry on. The rewards of tapping a spring. This is just a little water formant. I can get a drink of water there when I want, at least until the time I get back and work on it some more. I'd say that's only about half the water that's up in that spring, maybe even less than that. But anyway, it's a pretty good spring. That's it for the day. I think I said that more than once, but it's time to go now. Well, it's another day. I'm about to get started. I brought some clay up, 4 buckets of it. Probably only need 2, maybe, we'll see. So right now, I got the temporary tap in there with the temporary dam, and it's going down the hill to my bucket down there, filling up with water, so I have some water to work the clay and also to wash my hands. So the bucket's full now. So my next steps will be to take this temporary dam out and pull the pipe out of there, and then work that area a little bit where the water's coming in. A lot of water's coming in right there, and it drops down about 1 foot. So I'm going to scrape that off a little bit and see if I can get more virgin ground, not so much loose stuff. And then I'll clay in the dam there. We'll make a dam with the clay. I'll clay underneath the pipe with inlets, and try to slope the clay down to the lip on that black inlet pipe. I don't want any puddles in here when I'm done. That's really the, I'll say, the secret of keeping a sanitary spring, or at least one of them. So anyway, I got to go get my Pulowski because I forgot it down at the vehicle. It's only about 50 feet down the hill, and then I'll get started. Well, I have this thing carved out now. You see the water flowing down toward me nicely, nice slope, so the pipe will have a slope down on it instead of up, or that way it stays clean. And then the head of the pipe will be up there. I'll be putting a big gob of clay down the bottom of this pretty quick once I finish talking to you. And that'll seal the bottom. And up here is where the water's coming out of the ground, most of it. It's coming up from that bed up there and then dripping down. So I've cleaned that out good underneath there. I think back underneath where the water's coming out, so I can clay it down below and seal it and get the water to run down to where the spout will be. Okay, so I'm going to do the next step. Yep. Well, I've got the drain pipe in. So what I did is I put a plug of clay in there underneath that, a couple inches thick, and then I pushed the pipe into it and got the pipe exactly where I wanted it. And then I built clay up around it until I got above the strainer. And I'm going to build that more, but that's just the start. It'll come back here a little more. But I built it up close there instead of back here, because if I build it back here, it'd take a lot more clay to fill in front of it. And the idea is to keep everything small when you do this stuff. The smaller you keep things, the less work it is, and the less materials you need. Alright, so I'm going to start claying this in now. I'll be building that dam up a little higher. And I'll be putting clay, working it down around the pipe and underneath that strainer. I want to come right up to the edge of the lip with clay and then slope up to this area and put clay under there so it drips down into the clay and runs into my sump. So after a little break here, I'll get to it. Nice noises though, huh? I've got one bucket on there. Now I have to go down and get another one. But I made a dam, pretty good one behind there, up close. It's going to taper up. And I filled in below the strainer up to the lip, which I'll put more on this upper side. I don't want that puddle down there. I'm still working on it. And I was able to go up here just a little bit. So now I'm going to get another bucket, come back, and put it on there. I'm looking at where this is. There's a creek comes down here, sometimes slow, wintertime heavy rain. It goes right through here. I really need to get that out there so it's lower than the dam over there. That way in the winter, when you get too much water, it'll go on through here instead of going over there and plugging the system up. So the point will be to make the dam, clay dam, higher over there than this dirt is. I have to take about 6 or 8 inches of dirt off here, so we'll do that. Beautiful sound, huh? It's just serenading me. I decided to go ahead and dig this part on the left out. I want it to be lower than where the dam's going to be over there again. So I dug it out and I basically hit solid rock down there except for right in the middle. So now this is lower than what's going to be over there. So most of the stream water should come ripping down through here. And hopefully leave that alone. Okay. So right now I'm going to go start claying that part in there above the screen or the strainer and stop all the leakages in there and get the water flowing toward the strainer. This is the end of 2 buckets of clay. I've built up this dam here quite a bit. It still needs to be finished off and doesn't have to go too far in the back. It's good to put some rocks in there sometimes. Water doesn't really wash the blue clay too much as long as it's not in the direct stream. And this will be protected by rocks. So now I'm going to fill that in over in the back there where the water's coming off the hill and work it on down to the drain spout in a nice slope. So I'm going to work on that next. That's 4 buckets of blue clay. It's actually sort of a gray clay. Some of it's really good grade, some of it's not as good, but I think it'll do. I put some rocks in over the pipe at the end of the spill there, mostly so I didn't have to use all my blue clay up. And I built a good blue clay dam right there, all the way down to the pipe. So that's well sealed, and it's higher than this dam over here. This dam is lower, so when the water comes down through there, most of it will go on by. I've also clayed in the places around there where the water is coming down off the hillside there, and I'm collecting it, basically made a seal with the blue clay on the bottom and made a little channel all the way down to the drain area. Notice there's not hardly any puddling down there. I do not like puddles in my system because it's placed for sanitation problems. Up here there's a little tiny bit of a puddle, maybe right here, but I'll take care of that at a later time. See that little tiny puddle there? I really don't like any of them, although that's a minimal one. It's better than what most people do. So anyway, there you have it. As far as up to here. By the way, right where my foot is, it's solid rock under there, so I don't have to worry about that washing. Eventually I'll cover this up with bigger rocks, some of that kind of stuff up there, and make it so the water goes on and over there. The winter rainwater goes over the top, but the spring water will still go through the bottom. I could have put this thing over here, but then it'd be more in the middle of the stream, although I could have done it if I needed to, and it would have been a shorter run to the strainer. But the truth is, up above us, the water runs almost on the surface in a few spots up the ravine anyway, so I don't gain much. Anyway, this is looking good to me. You're a noisy sucker. I took the pipe out down there, it's a little quieter. So that's going to conclude the spring tapping so far. I'm going to close off this video and get it out because I'm not really planning to top this off and finish it off yet. I sort of want to see how the clay works out and how it dries up and how it cures through the weather for a while. But eventually I will make a video of closing this spring off properly so it's all buttoned up. It'll make it through the winter and hopefully for many years with very little maintenance. Okay, that's it for now. Oh, I guess I should tell you, I filled the bucket up 5 gallons in 2.5 minutes. You figure it out. 5 gallons to the top in 2.5 minutes. That's how much this spring is putting out. This spring is called Pot Grower Spring. Or maybe I should change the name to Noisy Spring. The reason it's called Pot Grower Spring is that quite a few years ago I found a black pipe sticking out of the creek down below here, and it's out in the middle of nowhere, nothing else around. And so I just assumed some pot growers were seeing if they could get some water here. And so that may or may not be true, but that's why the name of the spring is Pot Grower Spring. Boy, I'm going to consider that Noisy Spring name. Anyway, just thought you'd like to know.